Hello, dear ones. I am Eleonora, and this is the Awakening Path Show, the place where you come to expand your awareness. And today we're going to talk about the tree of life, what it is, what it means, and how it can help us to expand our consciousness. To have this talk with us, I invited two beautiful, amazing souls, Lorraine and Whitney. They are students of the Modern Mystery School that study transformative tools and healings of the lineage of King Salomon. I know you are not understanding much about it yet, but we are gonna explain all about. But first, welcome, Lorraine and Whitney. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you, Lenora. Thank you.
So my channel is seen by many people that are still, I like to say, on the matrix, living their daily life with 8 to 5 job, and most of the time not having much time to think of what they are thinking about. So this is kind of a bridge. So many people are going to be hearing terms that we're going to be talking about today for the first time. So for them, I like to explain things a little bit. So before I go and get to know you guys a little bit more, we're going to talk about the tree of life. And I just like to show two pictures. I think one is more known to many people. That's actually is this one. There is many variations. Are you able to see the picture?
Mhm.
There is many variations of the tree of life. It's basically just a tree showing the roads, and so above, so below, and really represent life. But there is another side of the tree of life that's represented by symbols. And we want to explore a little bit what that means. Let me give a little bit of explanation. What is the tree of life? Let me just move past a little bit more. The tree of life is an ancient symbol and spiritual framework found in many traditions, including Kabbalah, mysticism, and esoteric teachings like those of the lineage of King Salomon. So the Master Mystery School is associated to the lineage of King Salomon. At its core, it represents a map of creation and consciousness, a blueprint of how divine energy flows into the physical world. I'm sorry, my throat is getting a little funny, and into each of us. It is often depicted at 10 spheres called saffrons, connected by 22 paths, showing the relationship between spiritual and material, the infinite and the finite. So basically, everything that exists is energy. There is only energy. We are energy. Everything is energy, and energy that vibrates. Thought is energy. Our body is energy. The source of everything that you see on the 3D world is a thought. Before it's materialized, it needs to be thought, and then it came to manifestation. And for you that is familiar with the Abraham Hicks work, every thought that you hold for at least 17 seconds It's not minutes, it's seconds. You associate an emotion to it. Each emotion, the emotion you associate will hold a vibrational frequency that is sent out to the ether. And I like to see a picture of a collective bucket and individual bucket. And then those vibrations, they join other similarities. So that means the vibration of fear goes to the bucket of fear, the collective and individual. When it's get full, it's just overflow and manifest here on the physical world, not exactly with the same thing that was happening that generated the thought and the vibration, but for sure something that will hold the same emotion or a similar emotion, but very close to the vibration too. That's how creations work. And we, as energetic beings, are always interact with everything around us. And the tree of life try to make this connection of the energy that's all around us, in us, and make that bridge, how that really works, how our physical body connected to the energetic body works in together with everything around us. So I will invite Lorraine to give her version of what I spoke. What do you think? How you would explain the tree of life for someone that never heard about?
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for showing those images. And
Again.
just for total clarity, I'm not a Kabbalah teacher with the mystery school, but I have studied Kabbalah with the mystery school. So I don't want to give any teachings on it. But what
You don't have to, you can give like a broad vision.
absolutely.
People can understand a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's a lot of books written on Kabbalah. There are different traditions, whether it be Jewish Kabbalah, Christian Kabbalah, Muslim Kabbalah, that you can study from. But what is different in the Lineage of King Solomon, what we do in the mystery school, is you do need to be trained for several years, an apprentice, to actually be able to teach Kabbalah. And then as a group, is yes, we do study from, there are books that are recommended, but it is actually how we're different, even from the Kabbalah Center, is that we are an actual ascension process. And each of the circles that we call Sephra hold different, it holds a lot of complexity, a lot that is not even pictured here. And each are associated with different archangel, angelic host, and it is a map for creation. And what's different about the ascension process is that you are actually given energetic keys to live in each of the Sephira. And in that way, you can actually manifest in a lot faster. And that's basically what the mystery school is. It is handing down energetic keys for you to be able to use in your life. And we're more than just Kabbalah. Kabbalah is one of many courses or classes that you could take, but we're actually an initiatory path. And with each initiation, you are given tools and knowledge to actually be able to transform yourself, spiritually, and to continue to progress to who you truly are.
That's amazing explanation. Thank you so much. And for you that's curious to know a little bit more about the tree of life, besides those beautiful necklaces that I'm wearing one here right now, there is a lot of amazing information in YouTube for free. But if you wanted to go a little bit deeper, I really wanted to learn more to start to using for myself or perhaps to help other people. There is the Master of Mystery School, and I know should have others too. Just follow your intuition, and maybe that's something that's in your path. Whitney, would you like to give your explanation of the Tree of Life, how you see it?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Like Lorraine, I've studied Kabbalah, but I am also not a Kabbalah teacher. But I love what Lorraine said in terms of the modern mystery school. Kabbalah is an ascension process. It's a living, breathing system that we have access to when we have the correct keys that are handed down. And so all the keys that have been handed down through the modern mystery school have been time tested from teacher to student, held in a really holy way. So it's a very powerful process to go to. Um, on another level, the Tree of Life is a sacred geometry. It is an energy system within our energy structure, and it's something that we can work with. And so as we get those keys turned on, it becomes more real and more alive, and it becomes this tool that we can use to evaluate the reflections that we see in our life. So when we're in the Tree of Life and when we're experiencing that ascension process, our life becomes a real mirror and reflection of the things that we need to learn in order to progress and bring a higher vibration of living in life and light into our lives. It helps us to kind of course correct anywhere there might be a blockage or anywhere really we might be blocking ourselves. And it's really a path to our own personal self-knowledge of who we are as divine beings. And that individuality looks different for each and every one of us. And then I think the only other thing that I'll add is that in order to really study with the Tree of Life through the Modern Mystery School, there are actually two requirements to do that. And one is called life activation, which is a one-on-one healing session that really awakens your spiritual DNA that this Tree of Life represents. And then the second is the Empower Thyself initiation. And that allows you to really start to work with ritual to build and grow your energy structure and make it really strong. And so, as Lorraine said, it's this path of progression and path of initiation. And Kabbalah is one of those tools that we work with to enhance our energy and enhance our life.
That's amazing. I really love your explanation. You guys are complimentary of my very simple explanation. I really love it. I will stop sharing right now because I would like to know a little bit more of both of you. Lorraine, how your spiritual path started developing and really getting momentum? You say, okay, must have another way. I think I meant more to life than what I'm doing. Let's start looking for something else.
That's a great question. I found, actually at first the life activation, I'm going to age myself a little bit, about 17 years ago, and when I was in college. And during that time in my life, I knew there were some massive pieces that were missing. I believed in God. I was born and raised Catholic, but I felt very disconnected from myself, from life, and even from other people. So in college, my professor was talking a lot about the DNA and how our DNA actually does contain a lot of our gifts. And I thought to myself, what gifts do I have? That doesn't make much sense to me. But then somebody came into the class and actually demonstrated the life activation, which was, watching a fellow student having her energy structure rebalanced and then actually receiving the life activation. And there was something very holy about that. So a couple of months later, I contacted this lady that demonstrated the life activation. And even though I wasn't so sure what I needed, I went ahead and received the life activation itself. And I had heard about the mystery school, and I really liked the people who were students in the mystery school because they were not getting knocked around by life like I was. So I thought, maybe this can be something that'll really help me. maybe taking the first step, which was called the Adept program back then, but it's called Empower Thyself now. Maybe this is going to help me a little bit more. So, I took a leap of faith at 20 years old, and I received the initiation. And the teachings themselves aren't anything that I had heard before. I didn't even imagine myself as a divine being at that point. And I only thought I was just a person, body. I guess I had a spirit, but I guess I had a soul, even though I didn't know how they were interchangeable or if they were interchangeable. But I found out in that class that they were. And then I was handed down these rituals to call in energy and dispel energy. And then I received the actual initiation. And that's when everything changed. All of a sudden, I was filled with this confidence and this light that I didn't even know was possible. And this sense of bravery came over me, that the life that I dreamed of for myself would not just be a fantasy. It is something that I could actually do. And then my life changed very quickly. I had packed up my bags, moved to London, England, which I always wanted to do. And I was there until very recently. So I was away for about 13 years away from the US, and continued my studies with the mystery school, which has enhanced every single part of my life, from relationships to the way I think about myself, the way I think about others, and even has opened up what really my purpose is. Because how are we going to impact the world, and how are we going to impact others unless the good things that we've done for ourselves can be passed down to other people? So that was a little bit of a long-winded version about how I found the mystery
That
school.
was amazing. I got goosebumps. I got emotional. Thank you. It's a an amazing testimony, and I know that will help a lot of people that are listening to that maybe is feeling exactly like you were feeling in high school, in college. Whitney, how that happened to you when you started to really pursue your spiritual evolution?
Yeah, it's a great question. Thank you. So I actually remember asking when I was very young, probably when I was 4 or 5 years old, who am I? What if I was alive in another place before I was here on Earth? I had these questions from a very young age. And then throughout my teenage years, I kind of forgot, I got into the drama of being a teenager and went to college and all this stuff happened. But I came back to it through meditation, and I started studying other types of energy work before I found the Modern Mystery School. And then I found the Modern Mystery School through someone that I was dating at the time. And so I got introduced to my guide and received a life activation. I received Empower Thyself initiation, all within the same month. And it was something that I suppose the immediate result of it was just I raised my vibration, right? I could feel I was living at a higher plane. And what happened to me was different than what happened to Lorraine. So I resisted the intuitions and the guidance that I was getting after I got initiated, and my life kind of fell apart. But then once I kind of came back around to realize, like, oh, this is my intuition, this is my higher guidance that I've been aligned with, things started to fall more into place. And kind of the thing that really made that difference for me was actually Kabbalah and going through that Ascension series. That's what helped me to unlock what needed to be unlocked to really get on the right path for me in my life. And I think that's all I'll say. I think that's it for now. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. And it's very interesting that we are here to really share about our personal experience and talk about what's really work for us. But there is many paths. If you are feeling lost right now, the tree of life, the life activation, it's one path that many people will resonate with, but maybe you resonate with something else. That's why I have so many guests coming here. I have a playlist called podcast, I think is the Awakening Path podcast. You can see all my guests there. They are all of them have a gift to share with you. And thank you so much for sharing that beautiful experience of both of you that I know it's some things we kind of experience things in groups. There are a group of people that experience like Lorraine and another that experiences slightly like you. And then, of course, every one of us has our own individuality that things happen in more in specific way. But we can really learn a lot by just sharing and listening to one another. So I did the life activation with Lorraine. And it's amazing because when you go to do any, say, energy work, the first question that a person that is not in a spiritual path would ask, does it really work? Oh, come on. Besides the light that I turn on and off, I know anything about energy. I know that I'm alive, so I probably have energy moving through my body. How I would really know if it's really working, actually you're gonna know if it's working. For example, in the case of Lorraine, when she gave me the life activation, I was already very intuitive, say already a long way on my spiritual path. And there's feels really good here, and I can see something moving, but what's the result of that? And then weeks pass by and months pass by, and things was getting speed on my, let's say, discovering of who I really am and what it is that who I really am, my other incarnations and what I'm doing here, my connection, my God, and so on. Things get more and more speed, and was find out like one big thing after other. And I said, wow, I think there was an escalation of that because before it wasn't that fast. And I said, oh, it must be connected with the life activation. So that's how it happened. Another example that happened to me when I did the QHHT, hypnosis developed by Dolores Cannon. I was there, I had a great session, I felt really good, but and then, oh, and now what? So what happened is when I woke up right in the morning, the first thought, I was already channeling, but I never had channeled the higher self, mine or no one else. The first thought that came to my mind was get a message from your higher self. I said, oh, can I do that? Let me try. So that was not a coincidence that happened right after the session. When you do those energy works, it's doing exactly what you guys explained. It's unlocking those keys, connecting your DNA, that's the physical part of you in your blood right now, with the energy around you. So you are able to tap in more on the higher self of you. I'm not sure if I explain well that, but do you have like any aha moment for yourself or for any of your clients? I start with Whitney this time. That happened in your profession and working with people, or during your spiritual evolution, finding out more about yourself?
Yeah, so let me think. I like the way you described how you have a session and then you kind of observe what happens after the session. Because I feel like those are kind of when those aha moments can come, and you make that link between, oh, I did this, it opened this part of my my energetic field, my spiritual awareness, and then this new thing became possible. So I had a client recently who received life activation, and he had been kind of in maybe a little bit of a rut. And the things that happened after was that he quit his job and pursued his personal business and is working on that full time. And then also got a new relationship. So those are just some of those results that it's like, if you just tweak something small, you can make big changes and big shifts in your life. So that would be an example of a client. And I think an example for myself is, and I continue to have realizations, even today. You know, I'm a spiritual guide now, and I've been on the path for about 14 years. Is that right? No, only 12 years. I started in 2014.
All the time, and you stop counting. Sometimes I forgot to the day of the week we are.
Yeah, right. So, or maybe, and then math is challenging sometimes for me. But I continue to have those realizations, like even just within the last couple of weeks. I think an aha moment or realization that I've had is just that to really align my personal will, you know, with the will of God. And as I surrender to that will, there's just more beauty that can unfold in my life. And like, it feels like it opens the possibility for like new life and new light and more of myself to be here in my physical body and on this planet, and more capacity to really serve with the like gifts and the passions that I have been given. So that's my most recent aha moment, but I would say I've had many along the way.
Oh, that's amazing. How about you, Lorraine? Thank you for
That's
sharing.
a very interesting and a very deep question. Because I also wanted to address something that you said that I thought was, you know, very wise. Like, you know, Whitney and I are guides. We've been on the path for a long time. We've received many, many initiations in that time. But how do you know that this is real? I mean, Whitney and I can say all sorts of good things about life activation, initiation, Kabbalah, and who was the ultimate authority in your life? You know, in a way, you know, the path has actually helped me. This is what I mean when I said I was very easily influenced earlier in my life by friends, you know, social conditioning, social programming, religious programming, all sorts of things. And I was giving my authority away for what is true to somebody else. And, you know, I got to give you props, Eleanor, for, you know, taking the, I guess you could say, giving it a go, like taking the chance to try something new. And it is through the measurable results that you have in your life that you know something is real. And I guess that could lead me to what has been a really big aha moment, especially right after the life activation. Like I mentioned, I didn't think I was great at relationships back when I was younger. And I guess after the life activation, I went and saw some friends at the movie theaters right afterwards. And then I really saw, you know, how I had allowed you know, some relationships to be the ultimate authority in my life rather than me. So that small realization, that small shift that happened the day of the life activation was probably the biggest aha moment that I had very early on in the path. And even that small drop of light from the life activation that gets put into your energetic structure, into the spiritual part of your DNA. Some people feel it greatly. Some people might feel that small shift in a very, you know, minor way. But as time goes on, you know, it works for everybody. And yeah, there are, you know, different spiritual paths out there. But I did also like that what you said, that you felt an acceleration. And that's something that even, you know, at least I can speak for myself. Whitney probably agrees with me that there's been an acceleration spiritually, because everything that we do in the mystery school, you know, Whitney and myself were not self-taught. We had a teacher, and our teacher had a teacher, and our teacher's teacher had a teacher all the way back, because it needs to be repeatable for each and every individual. So that's, so I guess that's a couple of aha moments right there.
That's amazing. And now let's prove energy. I had many amazing examples on my practice right now. I like to call myself an energy healer, and I combine with Reiki and with everything else that you can imagine: crystal visualization, chromotherapy. I call the archangels, Jesus. But if you prefer Allah, I call Alacho, any light being. So I had some very interesting things that we really could pinpoint as well. So whatever energy really is real, and the way we interact with energy is our thoughts. But that's the key. When you put intention on your thoughts, and then it gets so powerful. And one example that I thought it was amazing, I was guiding a session with a group of people to heal all the chakras. And in all my sessions, I asked them to send the white light to other people. And they imagine seeing the white light just moving through their body and cleaning up all the negativity, sinking on the sand and so on. So the friend of mine that was doing the session, she did that to a friend. So in the next day, her friend told her this story. I had such a weird dream because I was in a beach with other friends, but they were being very hostile with me. They were not being nice. Sometimes I get emotion, but let's try it. Let me see if I can tell. So, and then I saw a white light, and I felt that white light was protecting me. And I look around, they weren't there. So it's up, and then she said, I was the one who sent the light to you. This is just an example, and it was amazing that her friend was able to perceive. All the others that she sent, they also received. They were just not in a position of perceive. Another thing is, I had helped some dogs that was transition from some clients, and they were old, they were sick and a lot of pain, so they decided to put them down. So I sent Reiki to them and asked to release the pain and so on also. And before they do the injection to do what it needs to do, they do another one to release the pain. And there is some movements that the dogs do, or a cat, when the medicine is working to remove the pain. But in the two cases, the vet and the owner saw also that the dog was just calm and still, or showing no signs of pain. So that's another proof that I asked for the pain to go away, and because I had the intention. And another difference is intention with love. Of course, sometimes when you send your hate to someone, your intention was something hate, and that person is in the vibration to receive, you will also receive. But love is always more powerful. So it's not different when you are a mother and you send that prayer, say, please protect my son or my daughter, and happy to do this or that, and that's really happened. And we go to get help with other people, with professionals, but really everything that you need you are able to tap in by yourself. You are, any one of us are, through a loss of dedication that starts by paying attention to your thought. However, many people at the planet right now is not in a place that they can get off their hamster wheel by themselves. That's where it's important for you to really look around and listen to your guidance and say that's your guidance that's always taking advantage of. Oh, they're listening to a podcast about the tree of life. Let's see if they are open to a life initiation. Because I have a lot of things to, I will be able to help them a lot and allow him to find out how to help themselves with. And the tools are many, and there is so many there, but the power, the way that you connect with energy is through your thoughts. Any of you would like to comment a little bit on what I said or something else? Whitney, do I have something to share on that?
Sure. Yeah. I was just waiting to see. I didn't know if Lorraine had something. Yes, our thoughts are powerful. Absolutely. They shape our reality. And there's been studies done about that. So we actually have a really amazing event coming up called Friends of Water, where one of our mentors, Erin Wallace, she lives in Northern California. She's going to be coming down to Southern California to speak about the work of Dr. Emoto. And so what he did all this work with water and studied how our thoughts will actually impact the crystal structure of water. And then he would look at it under a microscope. So there's one test where he spoke like negative and badly to this water that had rice in it. And then he spoke positive to this other pool of water that had rice in it. And the pool of water that was like spoke negative to actually became like diseased and stagnant and grew gross stuff. Whereas the pool of water with the rice that wasn't was perfectly clear and beautiful. And so I love that because it's just the physical representation of how powerful our thoughts are. So if we're telling, ourselves that we're not good enough or I can't do this, well, it can be a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? And so when we can have more control over our thoughts, more awareness, that's where it starts, right? We have to have that awareness first of what our thoughts are to then be able to make any change, to think, oh, okay, well, I don't want to think that way anymore. I actually want to live from this other place. I want to have more love in my life, more compassion to myself, more grace for myself. And then it's also, you start here, start with yourself, but then you can extend that out to others because we're a hermetic lineage, so meaning as within, so without. So we really can only give to others what we have within ourselves. And that's a big mission, of mine, and then also of the mystery school, is one person at a time. Help them wake up, help them realize, oh no, like you say, I have everything inside of me, but sometimes we need a little help. We need a reminder, we need a guide, we need a healing session, we need a tool to remind us of actually how powerful that we really are.
Amazing. Thank you. Lorraine?
Yeah, absolutely. You touched on a lot there, and Whitney put very eloquently on talked about Dr. Emoto's work and how our thoughts and even the words we say can actually influence the structure of water. And especially because we're something like over 70% water. How are our thoughts and our words impacting ourselves and others? And it's interesting that what you said, that many people are on a hamster wheel and are very much in autopilot. And I don't blame them. I have a lot of compassion for people who are like that, because we sometimes got to really go on autopilot to survive on this planet, right? And then I think you also touched on perception. So we're a lot more than our thoughts, and we're a lot more than just our mind. And one of the great things about the mystery school is that there are actual tools to clear up, your subconscious. Because I don't know about you, I don't know if you've ever met somebody or seen somebody where it reminds you of that person that you had a big falling out with in 8th grade, and you just don't like that person, even though it's the first time you've met them. I mean, is that you, or is that, somebody, is that like old programming? And do we have a tool to be able to actually clear that out? And because, in the life activation, yeah, we go through the energy structure and, work on the gentle expansion of it, and, cleaning it out. So when we are having those thoughts, because we are always perceiving, I mean, when we go into a room, you can tell if, there's been a big celebration in there, or if there has been a big fight in there. So those thoughts that we're having, are they actually your thoughts? Or are you picking up something around you and you think that it's you? So that is I guess you can even say that's part of the hamster wheel. That how do you discern what is you versus what is somebody else, and what is, how are you being influenced? So that's, yeah, you can connect to your thoughts. You can, connect through, you can do lots of things like meditation to be able to slow down those brain waves and slow down those thoughts. But that's something that we, has actually really worked on me. Like when I thought when I was younger that I wasn't good at relationships, I wasn't good enough. Was that true? Should I be believing all my thoughts? No. I didn't need to at that point. And that's something that the path has really shown me, that those negative things, maybe that's the negative ego, and it's not actually you.
Yes. Thank you so much. That's very important points that you touched there. And I'd like to learn a little bit more about the initiation. But before, I just would like to ask you, both of you, would you be willing to guide us in a little meditation?
Yeah, we could do something quick. What do you think, Lorraine?
Yeah, we can do something like
Okay, but before that, I'd like to learn more about the initiation because I'm planning to do so.
Okay, great. Whitney, did you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. So initiation is it's exciting. I love this topic. So we call it the Empower Thyself initiation. And it goes back to that truth that you are the creator, that I am the creator of my life, you're the creator of your life. And it's a 2-day process, and throughout that 2 days you learn different handing downs about the cosmos, creation, and then who you are within that. You learn rituals to maintain your energy, to build your energy structure, to discern better what's my thought versus what's someone else's thought or something I'm picking up from the collective. You learn how to work with energy, call in different types of energy, create a sacred space. So it's very magical, and it's very beautiful. And these teachings have been around for 3,000 plus years and have been handed down from teacher to student in this holy way. And so as guides, Lorraine and I, we preserve this lineage. And that's what I am passionate about, is being able to hold that flame of knowledge so that we have it, and that the generations that follow have it. And then the final part of initiation is as a ceremony. So it's you have a sword dropped over your shoulders and over your head, and that seals in. It's a process of sealing light into your being that will always remain. And I hope, as I'm talking, I feel the kind of the specialness of it, and so I hope I'm conveying that as I'm speaking, because it's an honor to be initiated, and it's an honor to then now be able to initiate. And so I'm just excited for you, Eleonora, to experience it. So with that, I'll pass it to Lorraine to share.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So everything that Whitney said, and I went ahead for initiation when I was about 20, so very, very young, and I wasn't even sure what I was saying yes to. And in those 2 days, I wasn't
A
sure,
lot of bravery, then.
is it bravery? Is it naivety? Is it, having an adventurous spirit and not being very risk averse? It could have been a lot of things back then. But I had seen the result in other people. So like Whitney said, it is a full 2 days, normally done over the weekend, where it's a small group class, or anywhere from 3, 5, 8, 10 people, it just depending on the size of the class and the guide. Where you're going to get everything up front. You get so many teachings. It's a very information dense 2 days. And it's not just, you're sitting there listening to the teacher lecture at you, or listening to the guide lecture at you for 2 days straight. It's not that at all. It's actually a very interactive process. And it's really nice to go through this process with other people as well, because they might say something that everybody else is thinking. And it's listening to these teachings, it's reflecting what's coming up for you, what's coming up with the other students. And then yes, you are handed down these very holy, very ancient tools of empowerment that are rituals, because we, like you said, like we're all energy, right? So it is learning and how to do these rituals. We'll practice them a number of times in class to start to build your energy structure. And then Whitney's right, at the end of the 2 days, there's a beautiful ceremony that is initiation. So think of it as a knighting, right? And it's
Wow.
actually an energy
Okay.
transfer, where after you took 2 days to prepare. So it's usually like 10 to 6, 10 to 7 p.m., just depending on how big the class is and how many questions everybody has, where then the energy transfer comes through. And you're given 10 times the light, 10 times energy, 10 times the power for you to use in your life. Because I can't tell you, what your purpose is, but I'm giving you the tools to break it open and to find it yourself. So think of it as, this way. If you're 10 times more powerful, all of a sudden your problems are 10 times smaller, because mine definitely were back then. And, my problems have become, easier to overcome over the years. And I can really attest to this lineage and the initiation and the light for helping me do that.
Very nice. Thank you so much for explaining. I'm really enjoying this conversation. But before we go to the meditation, I think it's important for us to talk a little bit about the body. Let me give a summary of my understanding about the body. First, you are not a body. You are a spirit having a physical experience here through the body. How that happened? When you are in the tongue of your mom, I like to use those simple words, your spirit, your soul blows through intention, blows the universal love and life energy to animate the fetus. And then you grows up. It's very important that you do not think that you are just the body, to worship the body, but is to say that the body is also important. Because without the body, you just can't stay living this experience here. So you need the body too. You need to take care of your body like you take care of a temple. Like you take care of that car that takes you everywhere. Maybe even a little bit more than the car. You don't need to worship like it's your God, like it's you, because it's not you. But it's important to take care of your body. It's important to know what food you eat, what drink you eat, which fat you immerse into your body, with people you relate to it. Everything concerned to the body is important because the way you experience life is through the body. So what I understood so far is the mystery school kind of teach you to reconnect the spirit, the sense, the energy with the body. Because since we are born, the kids are very connected to the body. The body with the spirit of a child is very connected. They're connected all the time. But what's happened growing up? They are taught not to be disconnected. To the point that when we get teenagers that are completely disconnected from their soul, from their essence. They're just in the mind and in the body and disconnected. It makes no sense that why they are depressed and rebelling. But the mystery school, I understand that, and through many other tools also, make that connection. Let the light, let the true of you move through your body and also become part of you and walk with you through life, not only like a corpus that can move, but a life force experienced through the body, but is connected to everything that is creating by design, that decide what you want to experience, that has power and has choice. Would you guys like to comment a little bit on that? What's the view of the body for you, Lorraine? How you see the body and the connection to everything?
Well, you touched on a lot of good points. The body is very important for our physical experience. And it's very interesting because we can really, because we're in the physical world and having a physical experience, it's very easy to measure some physical results. I mean, you can do that, if you weigh yourself, if you measure, how big your arms are. But then, there's a lot of emphasis placed on the body. We'll see that in our common, media out there. But one of the things that I'm thinking of, if you're not taking care of your body, like how much do you love yourself? If you are taking care of your body and treating yourself, treating your body as your physical temple, it is going to be like a reflection of the amount of care that you put into yourself. And that's not a mystery school teaching per se. It's just my perception. But it is good to take care of yourself, because you can, how can you express yourself in the world in the way that you want to if you aren't taking care of yourself? So that's my answer for that one.
Thank you. Whitney?
Yeah, I love what you both said. I think it's a good combination of we are spirit, we are eternal, we are having a physical experience, and it is a reflection, as above, so below. If we're not taking care of our physical, it's a reflection of how we feel about ourselves, how we think of ourselves. And in the same way that we need to take care of our physical body, we do need to take care of our spirit. And so, ways to take care of our spirit. First, we need to acknowledge that we are spirit in order to take care of it, and to know that, our spirit's going to be here even after our physical body dies. So how does that influence the choices that we make here? Even if we don't know exactly what happens, right? Food for thought.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's a good time. We have 3 people watching right now. If you guys have any question to any of us, just leave in the chat. May address after the meditation. And I want to let you know that the information to contact Lorraine and Whitney is in the description of this live. So please go there and check their services, get in contact with them if you want to learn more about their services. I didn't have a chance to work with Whitney yet, but I did experience Lorraine, and I think Whitney will just do an amazing job as Lorraine did for me. And if you feel guided to, that's a good way to start or continue finding out who you really are. Because I started this website, this YouTube channel about almost 4 years ago. Because I always been dealing with those 4 questions. What is God? Who am I? Where I came from? What I'm doing here? I remember being little and I was just thinking, okay, I'm here and the body walking, I have things to do. And then maybe I grow up, I get married, I have a profession, and then I have kids, maybe grandkids, and then I die, and then what? What is that for? And the people that die, where they went to? Did they ever exist before or not? And that God, when people around me, they're saying, oh, there's a God in the sky. And then I look at the sky as the sky is just an empty space. How a God can stay there? So that picture of that old man just touching his beard and demanding everything down here, that doesn't make sense to me. But and then when I heard about Jesus and his love, there is something there. I like that. But I have so many questions and nobody really to ask to because they knew they didn't have the answer. And I was wise enough not to upset them. So I just leave it until I was 25 years old and I started investigating and the things, the information just started come to me and come and continue coming to now. And that's what we are doing here now. Helping people find out who they really are. And as I told you before, they are able to do that by themselves. But I could have done by myself. I'm sure it'll take a way longer. I'm very grateful for all the people that helped me so far. And that will continue to help me in the future. Sometimes when I meet someone and I got the guidance and let's just exchange a service with that person. And then I look at the person, she's connected with everything, she's a healer too, and it's, oh my goodness, I don't think she needs my service. Well, I don't know what I can do it for her. But you know what? Each one of us experience things in a different way. And sometimes we do have something, need for something that will be more open to receive from another. One explanation is, for example, I channel Archangel Michael too. I usually do more for myself. But I was having a reading with a friend that's psychic, and then I asked her, it was guided to tell him, ask Archangel Michael what he has to tell me. And then I thought, why I don't just ask myself? But that's what come true. And he wants to tell you that you should rest more, that you should relax more, and everything will be okay. But at that time, I was thinking, I'm not doing enough. I need to work fast. How that message would come through me if I was thinking exactly the opposite. You know what I mean? And another thing is a reminder that we are here to really interact with each other. We are all as different aspects of the same thing. And we are really get even more empowered when we are together and we accomplish more. You get faster into places. When we help each other, when we offer help and we allow ourselves to receive help too. Oh my goodness, I could speak forever. I'm really enjoy before the meditation. If you guys want tap in anything that I said, it's okay. It's up to you to go to the meditation. What would you like to say something, Lorraine, or just go to the meditation?
Yeah, Whitney and I talked last night about, how we might be able to, what we could offer to your audience. And I'm based in Los Angeles, California.
Yeah.
Whitney's in Orange County. And Whitney talked a lot about Dr. Emoto's work. And actually on September 9th at 7 p.m., that we're actually having that talk with the leader of California, Aaron Wallace, about Dr. Emoto's work, where we are actually going to learn a ritual to be able to really clear the water in our bodies, ourselves. And we just wanted to offer, if you're in the local area, Los Angeles or Orange County, if you want to attend Friends of Water, 7 p.m. on Tuesday, September 9 in Huntington Beach, Whitney and I would be happy to offer like a chakra balancing session for you free of charge, just to connect and have a chance to meet us, and to really experience some of the the beauty and the energy that what Dr. Emoto has done, and then what our lineage can do as well.
That's amazing. I have the link. I'm gonna put the link in the description of the live, and the offer of cleanse the chakra, we're gonna do there, or there will be private?
It'd be
How?
private. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So if you'd like to have an experience with Whitney or Lorraine, just go attend the workshop. I'm gonna put in the link below, and you'll be able to connect with her. You're gonna see her, you're gonna recognize her because you can see they're here. You know how you're gonna recognize their energy, their beautiful figure too. Let's go to the meditation because I think it's a good time for the meditation. What do you think, Lorraine? Ready for the meditation?
Yeah, we can do like a bit of more of a relax
Yeah.
breathing, breathing exercise and visualization. This will be pretty quick. We can offer all sorts
Yeah,
of,
it's
but
okay.
it's a little different on a Zoom podcast.
Yes. Yes, that's amazing. You can guide.
Okay. Unless Whitney really wants to guide, but I'm happy to.
You go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Or if you want to do the first part, I can close us out, or we can go either way,
Okay, perfect. I'll do the first part. So
Okay.
how I've been taught to meditate in the mystery school is like, you do want to be elevated. So you don't want to really be lying down, because the etheric is, depending on how tall you are, it's about 3 feet from the ground. So we want to have as much of ourselves, out of the etheric structure of the earth, so we can actually connect in with source. And I always tell my students that meditation is a muscle and it's a practice. Even if you've been meditating for a long time, you've tried different types of meditation, we are practicing slowing down our brain waves, because we're normally in a beta state, rushing, multitasking, rushing thoughts. So we're going to be slowing down to alpha, which is better for, relaxation, deep study, learning new languages. So no, you can go ahead and just practice. So when you're sitting up, you just have your feet planted comfortably on the ground. And then you'll have your hands, kind of open like this, but just resting on your lap, ready to receive. And you can have, a back support, whatever it is you need. And if you do feel thoughts coming up from your subconscious, that's totally normal. Just focus in on the breathing until those thoughts go away. So I can lead through the breathing piece. So you can go ahead and close your eyes and take that first deep breath in through your nose and out of your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And again, in through your nose and out through your mouth. On your next deep breath in, imagine you're breathing in white light. The light is gentle, and you breathe out anything that you don't need here today. Any thoughts, any nervousness, any stress, just breathe it out.
Good. And now I want you to bring your awareness into your feet. And as you do so, we're going to relax each part of our body from our feet all the way to the top of our head. And I want you to repeat softly out loud after me. When we repeat out loud, even in a whisper, it communicates to our subconscious. Feet, relax. Feet, relax. Feet, relax. Putting all your energy, awareness, and attention into your feet and feeling the cells, tissues, even the bones just soften and relax towards the earth. And then moving up, legs relax. Legs relax. Legs relax. Softening, letting go. Moving up, abdomen relax. Abdomen relax. Abdomen relax. Chest relax. Chest relax. Chest relax. Shoulders, arms relax. Shoulders, arms relax. Shoulders, arms relax. Neck relax. Neck relax. Neck relax. Head relax. Head relax. Head relax. Feeling your whole body soft, relaxed, your breath natural and smooth. Just take one more deep breath in through your nose, bringing in that white light. filling your whole body, and especially bringing that into your heart. And if it helps you to feel connected to your heart, you can place one hand on top of the other. So you take a deep breath in, filling your heart and your whole body with that light, healing light. And then letting go. Exhaling, opening your eyes, bringing yourself back. And noticing, even though that was a very short meditation, what that did for your body, your thoughts, your emotions, your spirit.
Wow, that was amazing. I think I went somewhere.
Good.
I wasn't just right here. Oh, that has been an absolutely pleasure. You are about 1 hour and 17 minutes. I would ask Lorraine for a departure words and then Whitney.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eleonora, for having us on here. It was a pleasure to connect with you and to connect with your audience. And I'm hoping to see you again very soon and to, be of service for anybody who is looking for more.
Thank you. Whitney?
Yeah, likewise. Thank you so much, Eleanor, for having us on. I really enjoyed connecting with both of you and having this conversation and being able to share the light that our lineage has to offer. And I know we would be excited to connect with you or anyone from the audience more. So please reach out if you want more information. We're resources and here to serve. And thank you for your service, Eleonora, and sharing all this and all that you do. So appreciate you.
Thank you so much for both of you. Thank you that stay here watching us. And if you want to connect with Lorraine and Whitney, their website is in the description of this live. And if you want to learn more about my services, my website is also there. So much love and light to you, and see you next time.
Yeah.
Just all right. It was amazing. As I told, I kind of